For some, I pull out the fishes, the Ghotis. So you ask yourself what Ghoti is? No? Well, I don't care. The archetype consists of 14 cards, 6 main deck monsters, 1 spell, 3 traps, and 4 extra deck monsters. So here's how it works. The Ghoti tuner comes back during the opponent's next standby phase. Pays his banishes himself from field to special summon a fish monster to the field, Shift, which can be banished from the graveyard to give a fish 500 attack for the turn, and Sepp, which can banish himself from hand and a fish monster from graveyard, but he only comes back if he banishes himself during the opponent's turn. When he does that, he comes immediately back to Synchro Summon. The other 3 main deck monsters are more unique. You got Exceep, who can special summon himself when you banish a card. Snowpierce, who can banish 2 cards from hand or graveyard to special summon himself to field. And when he gets banished, you can banish another fish card from the graveyard to get him back to the hand. And then there is Eonok. He can special summon 1 level 4 lower fish monster in defense position from the banish zone, but its effects are negated. He can also banish 1 fish monster from hand or field to add a Ghoti trap, which can be really useful to add yourself Ghoti Fury or Chain. For the spells of the Ghoti, we only got the field spell, the most distant deepest depths. It can't be destroyed or banished while you control a fish synchro monster. Once per turn, you can banish a fish monster from hand or graveyard and add yourself any Ghoti monster from deck to hand, which can be used due to game mechanics to banish a card, add yourself Exceep, and special summon him right away. The field spell can also recycle itself. If you special summon a fish monster while it's in the graveyard, you can banish any fish you control and add it back to hand. From the traps, only one is important. We got Ghoti Cosmos, which has effects depending on how many fishes are banned. If 1 fish is banned, fish monsters cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. If 4 fish monsters are banished, fish effects on the field cannot be negated that turn. And if you have 8 fishes banished, you can special summon 1 fish synchro monster from your extra deck and the summon is treated as a synchro summon. Then there's Ghoti Chain, you can banish 1 face-up monster you control and then special summon 1 Ghoti from the banish zone, graveyard or hand with a different name than the banished card. And last but not least, we got Ghoti Fury, the most important Ghoti card. You can target 1 fish monster and 1 card your opponent controls and then you banish both of them until the next standby phase. This is really good with Ascan as it lets you banish 2 cards at once if you special summon Ascan at the same time. You can also banish this card from the field or graveyard, and if you do, all special summoned fish monsters gain 100 attack per banished card this turn. That concludes the Ghoti main deck. Now we go to the extra deck. The Rhympus, when you get Synchro Summoned, lets you banish a fish monster from deck, which is perfect with Sepp, because then you can use a Rhympus to banish Sepp and go into an Ascan to remove any card from the field. And as mentioned before, you can combo it with Ghoti Fury to remove 2 cards from the opponent. A Rhympus also has the effect that if he gets sent to the graveyard for a Synchro Summon, you can banish a fish monster and then add a fish monster with the same level or lower from deck to hand. Then we get right to Ascan. When you get special summoned, you can banish a fish from field and a card your opponent controls. Ascan also has the effect that if he gets banished, you can banish any other fish monster from the graveyard and special summon him back to field. Then we also got Gurglim. He has monster removal upon attacking the opponent. During the standby phase, you can banish him and special summon the monsters used for a synchro summon back to the field if they are still on the graveyard, but they get banished upon leaving the field. Now for the big baddie monster of the deck, Ghoti of the Deep Beyond. He's simple. His original attack becomes 500 for each banished monster. Doesn't matter if it's yours or the opponent, so you can get pretty beefy through the course of the game. If he was summoned on the opponent's turn, he becomes a board wipe which banishes the entire field. During the next standby phase, he comes back like the tuners if he was banished from field. And that's all the Ghoti cards. The strength of the deck is really its grind game. Its biggest weakness are OTK decks. It's really slow when introducing its first initial board, but through the course of the game it can grow really strong. It excels a lot in longer games. And combos, it's pretty simple. You only really got one big combo. And that's a 1-card one as well. You open with the Lifeless Leaf Fish, using its effect to send Shift, then activating the effect from Shift and banish him. Then you pass. During the following standby phase, Shift comes back, and then you can. Then during the opponent's main phase, you can Synchro Summon into a Rhympus, sending your Sepp, and then you bring back Sepp to Synchro Summon the tune to Ascan. Then you Chain Link 1 a Rhympus and Chain Link 2 Ascan. You target any card from the opponent and Ascan to banish both of them, and then target a Rhympus as itself to banish him. Then you either add Snowpierce, one of the tuner, or Exceep to hand. Then you banish Shift with the effect of Ascan to special summon him back to the board. This combo can be extended on like if you open Paces as well to lifeless leaffish or stuff like Abyss Shark and Minairuka. Another card I really like to open in Ghoti is Ice Jade Adrian Run. You can discard one card, optimally shift, and then special summon her to the field. She's a level 7 tuner which summons a level 3 token, which you can use to get a Chengyin immediately to the board, which is really good. I'm sure you can figure out variations for combos without my help after you're smart and read cards, right? Like when instead of summoning Askan, you summon the White Aura Whale for his Raigeki effect, but sadly it can miss timing. And then finally with this Jank, which you can use actually as well, due to Paces. I can't say too much about the main deck. We run 3 Paces and 2 of the other tuners, 2 Snowpierce and 2 Exceed, 3 Lifeless Leaffish, 2 to 3 Abyss Shark, 2 Minairuka. For the decklist though, we have this decklist, which is probably the most optimal decklist at the moment for Ghoti. You can change up a few things like cut the Ice Shade for the Ear Knock and a few more traps for consistency. Ghost match in this deck is a choice because all monsters we will have on the board are most likely to be water, which can also be paired with the Stealth Kraken to lock the opponent into water as well. The biggest win condition of the deck though is that the opponent hopefully has no clue what you're doing. And that concludes this video on the Ghoti archetype. Next time we are going to cover the weakest spellcaster control deck in the entire game, which I strive to make one day meta viable. I just need to put more hours into it, trust. If you have enjoyed this, maybe consider handing over a sub so you don't miss out on future bad videos. And with that, have a good night. Bye!